Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for being here. So just to preface this, my next video is going to be a little late because I will be moving and we are actually dealing with a tropical storm coming in. Hopefully it only stays to tropical storm level and doesn't go to hurricanes this week. So hopefully that doesn't mess up everything because I don't know when I'll have my internet in the new place. Hopefully quickly. Hopefully this transfer thing that Xfinity tells me about will be just as smooth and painless as they say. Fingers crossed. So anyway, I just got done listening to the podcast, another fabulous one. Of course, I liked the name of this one. It was A Royal Mess. Royal being Dan's dad, played by the amazing Gerald McRaney. I love him myself. Major Dad, for those of us from the 80s, early 90s generation. I'm dating myself on that one, I know. So this is one of my, we're going to be talking about polite, a crash course in polite conversations. This is both one of my favorites and least favorite episodes, because I do agree with the ladies on the podcast that the moments between Lucas and Peyton in that hotel room were a little cringy. But I love this episode because I love the family dynamic and learning about Dan and how his dad was with him and how he is with Nathan, and so much happens there. So I love that. So let's get into it. Yeah, I'm just going to say on the opening with Peyton and her dad talking on Skype, or video call, whatever they called it in this. I still don't see the chemistry that people were talking about with them. It's just like, it's her dad, yo. I do love Royal, Dan's dad, entrance, and and Nathan answers the door, and I mean, right off the bat, he's like, you answer the door in your underwear, like, already judgy. The very fact that Dan thought for 1 second that Deb would seriously tell his parents that they were separated after it's all his doing. Classic Dan. Oh my God. But it's funny how he's like, oh, the counseling's garbage, but the second his parents come into the equation, he's like, we're doing counseling, we're going to work it out. That whole, it might be good for us to remember what it's like to be a normal family. He's so manipulative. Ugh. On the podcast, they said so many interesting theories about why, Dan's dad would keep in touch with Karen and it would be on the down low. It's like, I never really thought about all that. I just always really liked that he did keep in touch with her. I didn't really think beyond all of that. So I kind of like the idea of him just keeping tabs and keeping up. But it's so interesting to see, Deb overhear that and just be like, oh, okay, interesting. Once again, Peyton, Lucas, Brooke, Peyton's pain, and then like she's worried about her dad, and it's just like, I do remember thinking that so early on, even originally watching this series. I was like, God, Peyton's almost like the misery chick. Did anybody ever watch Daria and she became the misery chick? It was actually an episode entitled that, but it was just funny because it says like, God, I feel like Peyton was just the one that was just designated on the show to have all the really crazy drama and just nutty drama, and it's just so wild to me. I totally love how Nathan kind of not asks Haley to come to the dinner. I think it's really cute, it's really sweet, it's very sincere, and I do love but I totally get him wanting a buffer. Like, sometimes in some situations with certain people, you just need a buffer. Oh my God, when Dan's dad comes in and he's just like, yeah, he's all bragging on Dan's, basketball record to the guy that Dan's trying to sell a car to, the customer, and it's just like, man, he really does do that to Nathan. Dan does that to Nathan. Oh my God, when Keith walks in and then he says hi to Dan and Dan just barely acknowledges him, and his dad's like, look what the cat dragged in. It's like, just history repeating itself. I love knowing that Joy loves Gerald McRaney, because I've always loved him too. And if I mean, everything he's been in. I mean, I just like, oh my God, have you seen him in This Is Us? Oh my God. Emotional, man. But like, he's been in so many wonderful things, and I've always loved him. And you can totally see her face when she walks in and she sees him. It's like, I agree with the ladies on the podcast. That was not Haley, that was Joy coming through, because she was absolutely joyous to be in the same room with him. And I think it's cute that he was like, you sit down right next to me, honey. I just think that's like that old Southern, sweet kind of, sentimentality. I don't think there's anything bad about that. And I absolutely love that Whitey came to dinner too, because Keith invited him and Keith is just like laughing about it. I love it. I mean, it's not just like, okay, so Keith obviously invited Coach Whitey to annoy Dan, but I think he also did it because he wanted a buffer. But, it would have been real interesting to have Karen there. I mean, I doubt she would have gone and he would have invited her, but that would have been interesting. That would have been a real interesting dinner. You know, I have to give props to the way Peyton played this when she got that call about, come identify the body. It's like, as a teenager, I would have been flipping out. So she was very, very calm about it. But then we also see her self-sacrifice in the point of, no, I'm not going to call my grandmother because it would just freak her out. I mean, we see that pattern with her again, and it's just like so self-sacrificing. And it's like, but I have to be like, girl, you played that so well, because as a teenager, if that were me, I would be losing my mind. I do have to say they pointed this out with Brooke being like recognizing that, no, I wouldn't be good in this. I don't want you having to take care of me. And that's a very adult way to look at it, because I don't know how too many, teenagers would be thinking that way. It's a very, very good point. And it's just such a trusting point for Brooke to be like, oh, hey, I had thoughts that maybe you liked my man and I'm going to just send you off into a storm with him. That's cool. Cool, no problem. But then here's another thought. Maybe this was a subconscious moment for Brooke to be like, let's test my theory. Oh my God. I love Haley's little, Nathan's got great knees. There is so much in this dinner. I swear I could probably do just a video breaking down the dinner alone. It's just rife with just tension and unspoken things and feelings and emotions, and it's so fantastically done. And the looks between everyone, like Whitey when Royal asks about, Dan's dad asks about what Nathan's averaging, if you're gonna beat your old man, and what are the Ravens doing, how are they playing, and he's like, oh yeah, we're still undefeated, and Whitey's like, what? That's not right. Ugh, there's so much in this dinner. I love this episode because of this dinner. I totally always forget that Haley recognizes Royal from coming into the cafe and to ask for Karen, and then she tells Nathan, and it's like, he's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But then he just talks about my family is screwed up. And that's a very teenage boy response, I think. Is it just me, or does it feel like Lucas and Peyton weren't driving that long that they needed a hotel room? Just wondering. I love when Deb is just like, back off, Royal. I've had enough of your crap. Like, literally just saying it. I appreciate that. Deb really has powerful moments in her few scenes, and I like that it all just comes out at this dinner. I think that is so great. I swear I could do video just on this dinner. Like, when Whitey kind of like, pats Dan's mom's hand when she's like, tell me what's going on, and then Deb has her moment of being honest, and then here comes Dan's mom being like, I lied for you, I gave you a way out because your dad was bullying you, and here you are doing it again. His dad's like, I never bullied him. It's like, whoa. It's like Dan's got former. It's like, what? It's oh God, families are crazy, right? I'm going to be honest, I don't have a whole lot to say about when Peyton and Lucas go into the hotel room initially. Not really some of my favorite scenes, although I will say now, watching it now, I feel like maybe this is more of a foundation of their future relationship. So I guess I did have something to say about that. Um, I do love, I agree that I love when Haley's like, don't be, because Nathan was like, I'm sorry you had to see that. And she's like, don't be. It helps me understand you. Again, a very adult thing to say, but it's true, nonetheless true. I mean, anything like that would definitely help you understand someone and why they are the way they are, like fundamentally. Dan is always so good at explaining his side of things. You almost believe it. Not that I don't believe what he's saying, but it's like, I do think this was like definitely a turning point because when Nathan says, "Don't worry, I'm never going to be like you, Dad," he's right. Because as we learn, he doesn't become like Dan. I always kind of love how Lucas seems to always know the right thing to say, and he's just so understanding in that moment when Peyton finds, his mess, playing with her bracelet and, from her dad, and it's just like, you really do feel for her because it's like, God, so many bad things do happen, and it's just hard. It's just like, you gotta remember, okay, this teenage boy had writers writing for him, and none of them really were. Most of them weren't teenagers. I think James Lafferty was one of the younger ones. But so it's just so funny how they always have these actors not playing their ages. At the same time, it kind of gives normal teenagers an inaccurate representation of the experience. Deb always had these moments where she could just say like one or two things and it'd just be like, bam, just knock it out of the park. Because when she says the truth in this house, it's like, but that really does go to show how Dan is because he is very much in his own lives. He's very much having to believe his own lives. Very, very true acting there. I enjoyed the moment of Peyton talking about how her dad would make crazy pizzas after her mom passed because he didn't know how to cook and it making her laugh and forget for a minute. That was a deep moment. And I also do agree that I don't know if I recognize the fact that like Dan kind of married someone that kind of mirrored his mom a little bit in Deb. It's interesting. I like the fact also that Deb and Dan's mom had that moment of like sister solidarity. I'm glad you spoke up. I'm glad you told the truth, kind of. Got your back on that. I understand. We protect our sons. Nathan really had those powerful moments too, kind of like his mom. He definitely had the smartassery like his dad, but there's a definite where he could really just nail a line. And when he's like telling his grandpa that, my dad basically, in not so many words, my dad basically threw it all away because it was better to lie than disappoint you or not be able to do what you wanted him to do. And it's just like you can tell you see that really impact Royal when he says it. Notice like, okay, so we see Peyton, she's relieved it's not her dad, and then she realizes, oh, my bracelet, it's missing. But it's like when Lucas is talking to Brooke on the phone and she's like, oh, they found her dad's boat, he's fine. And then she's like, I love you. And he's like, yeah, you too. It's like, anybody else notice that? Oh my God. Nathan does go back and forth in the acting really well because he's like, oh, I'm done with you, Dad. And then he comes back and he's like, no, I have to beat my dad. Like, and that's such a weird moment because, like, on one hand, it's like, okay, you're gonna kill yourself to beat your dad. Like, really, that's crazy. But then on this other hand, it's like, no, with your dad, I could kind of understand why you'd feel that way. I do agree that whole moment of her finding her bracelet and knowing that her dad's okay, it's like, I understand being relieved, but I totally agree with the ladies on the podcast. Like, after something like that, most people are not going to want to get down. You know what I'm saying? And there's also the whole thing about, God, Lucas, you're with Brooke. Like, you. Ugh. Because she's trusting you so much. And here you are, just being like, oh, okay, I'm going to kiss you now, Peyton. Oh. Yeah, this is where I really start to hate Lucas. I'm like, and Peyton. It's like, more Lucas, because it's like, you're the one in a relationship here. Like, it's not like you just kissed her. You kept going and you wanted to, and cringy. And then her hair gets caught. So you're telling me neither of your conscience like popped up and was like, "Hey, this isn't right. You shouldn't be doing it. Maybe stop." No, no. Hair got caught in a necklace. That's called what? Karma? No, not karma. I'm very tired. It's late. I don't know what that's called. I can't think of the word. But seriously, I mean, it's such a catch-22 because it's like, what are you doing? You both kind of suck right now, but then it's like, we know that they're like soulmates and they're going to end up together forever later. So it's like, but it doesn't make it right now. It just doesn't. Because this is like, yeah. The fact that it was Brooke's necklace that stopped them, like, got her hair caught. See? See? Mm-hmm. And it's like, just the mere mention of Brooke's name, it's like, oh, my best friend that you were dating. Right. I remember her. I'm sorry. I mean, it's so, this always just gets me, man, because it just, like, it's so conflicting. Like, but it's just so, like, why were neither, I mean, okay, obviously you like each other, but it's, I don't know. What happens in the sleazy motel room stays in the sleazy motel room. Okay, so the awkward dinner, the explosive family awkward dinner, kind of goes into the awkward uh, family breakfast. And did anybody else notice that when Dan's mom gave him the present to him from Dan is like gingerly, like he's treating it like it's a bomb. Like he's like, I don't know about this. Here his mom had this special ass quilt made with all his jerseys, and she's like, "See, you still have so much to be proud of." And he looks at her like, "Woman, why are you showing me all my failures?" Like, you don't even appreciate it. What does he really appreciate? And once again, Deb, drops a bomb in the calmest way. We're like, basically, yeah, Dan, this ain't gonna work no more. We see Peyton and Lucas in one of the most awkward silent car rides home. Or it feels that way in the beginning. Because then he tries to talk, and she's like, no, it was stupid. It didn't mean anything. And then she's like, of course it did mean something. And it was just like, okay. I mean, again, we know where this goes, but in the moment, it's just like, what? I like how when Dan's parents leave, and then we see Deb, take Dan's hand off her shoulder and walk away, and Keith is like, see you later, and you see everybody walking away, and then Dan walks away, and Nathan's standing there, and it's like, again, a very, moment, like, okay, he's making a decision for him, he's gonna make a decision for himself for once. And then you see him and Haley just kind of look at each other in the hall, and he just goes his way, and she's just like, she almost looks sad, like, because he's still doing the whole I have to beat my dad thing. So it's like, you see Brooke come out and hug Peyton, and then, hug Lucas, and it's just like, okay, so now that I'm rewatching this one episode per week and not binging it, because I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that when you binge a show versus when you watch it each week, it's very different. You notice things you didn't notice before in both ways. And even though I watched it originally, week to week, and then I binged it, and now I'm doing the whole week to week thing again, I'm just like, man, I'm seeing this so differently, because it's like, I always kind of thought Brooke was like really over the top and just being extra, but I'm like, no, I get it. Like rewatching it now, again, the week to week thing, I get it. Like, I get why she was so mad. I get why she was so hurt. And she had every right to be. And it's like, they tried to hide their feelings for each other, but kids are stupid. Teenagers, we were all stupid as teenagers. Sorry about the length of this video. It is a bit longer than I'm used to, but if you've made it this far, congrats. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Until next week.